welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, my name's Gemma, and usually my vlogs are about weight loss and health and fitness, but I've been absent for a couple of weeks now, and this vlog is going to be a little bit different. You have to excuse me because I'm getting out of breath really quickly. So I'm doing this vlog to explain a little bit of a condition I've got and what's happened these last 2 weeks. You'll see in obviously the thumbnail and in my description what's kind of happened, but I'm wanting to do this vlog because there wasn't the information that I needed at the time that I needed it. So I thought I'd do this just for anyone that's going through similar circumstances, and just in case anyone wants to get in touch and wants to obviously discuss. So I did explain a couple of weeks ago, about 4 weeks ago, that I have something called vasovagal syncope, and it's just a kind of medical term for fainting. But my vasovagal syncope causes my heart to stop, to pause. I think it's called bradycardia. So I have been hospitalised twice before with that, and each time they've discussed pacemakers, but they wanted to see if I could manage by working out what triggered it and then trying to avoid those triggers. The first time it was food poisoning, so we believe the trigger was either pain or nausea, something like that. And then it was 10 years before I was hospitalised again. In 2019, I'd gone out drinking alcohol. I'd had too much to drink and I had not eaten during the day. I was on Slimming World and I'd been to weigh-in. I'd had one can of Diet Coke. I'd not had any water. I'd hardly had any food. And my heart stopped quite a few times that night, and I was hospitalised for a week. They talked about a pacemaker at the time, but they decided because I was so young, I was 37, and they decided that I'd try and manage the triggers. So at that time they explained that probably the last time with the food poisoning, this time with the alcohol, that it is dehydration. So for 2.5 years I've been trying to increase what I drink. I have around 2.5 to 3 litres of water a day. When I go exercise into the gym, I have isotonic tablets to replace the nutrients in my body. And then I had a few funny dizzy spells, and I felt like my syncope was probably getting a little bit worse. Not major ones that I needed to go in hospital, but I've just not been right for the last few months. So, sorry, that's my radiator squeaking. So 3 to 4 weeks ago, I had an operation to have a loop monitor fitted in my chest. I did vlog around that time, so you'll have seen that. I had the loop monitor in my chest to record any of my syncopes and to see whether it is stopping, pausing my heart. And then been all fitted, started healing where the incision was. And then on the 20th of November, so 2 weeks ago, I had 3 litres of water during the day. I ate food, and I even filmed a vlog that I haven't been able to get up, but I'm going to probably link that in my I'm going to do another vlog tomorrow with my weigh-in and food and stuff. Sorry, I'm getting out of breath again. So yeah, I went out on the 20th and I had a lot of alcohol. I had rum and cokes, I had shots of sambuca. I let my hair down and obviously got drunk. And the reason I did that is I felt safe because I got the monitor. I felt safe because I'd had 3 litres of water and I'd had food. I felt like I'd done the right things to prevent my syncope ever happening again. But I was wrong, and we've been out for a few hours. About 11 o'clock, I began to feel unwell. So I spoke to my husband, and I spoke to my friend who doesn't drink. I said, you're going to have to take me home. I'm not right. So they took me home, and we were in the house for about 11:15. And I said to Steve, I said, I need to go to bed. I said, I don't feel very well. So he got me into bed, and I said, I feel sick. So he ran downstairs to get a bowl for me. And in the time that he'd ran downstairs, my vasovagal syncope kicked in, and I collapsed. I hit my head on the radiator and my bedside table. I bust all my nose. I cut, you can't see, but it's scarred there. Cut my head open. I caused myself whiplash. I had bruises to my jawline, bruises to my cheeks, bruises to my nose and my head. And Steve ran back upstairs, and I was unconscious on the floor. I came round. I passed out another few times. My son, my 14-year-old son, had to help carry me downstairs. We phoned for an ambulance. There were no ambulances. They were all out on calls. Steve had had alcohol, so couldn't drive. So we had to phone for his dad and his stepmom to come and pick me up. I passed out another few times while they were there, which was very scary to them. They'd never witnessed it before. Obviously, Steve's witnessed the 3 major occasions, so he's used to it. But my son, my stepdad, my mother-in-law, stepmom, and father-in-law had never witnessed it before, so it was scary for them. They got me to hospital. They rushed me into resus, and they told Steve and his family that he needed to go. He couldn't stay with me. They worked on me for around an hour and a half until they stabilised me. What they did to stabilise me is they put me on a drip of a medicine. I can't remember what it's called, so I'm going to put it up on screen. And this medicine increases your heart rate, makes you feel really ill, but it gets your heart rate back. So yeah, they did that. Previous occasions they had used the paddles, but when I came round I could feel them, and I was screaming last time, but this time they didn't. They used this medicine, and it managed to stabilise me. Just to talk about my experiences in hospital, it was so busy that night. I mean, as you can imagine, if there were no ambulances to come to me, whose heart was stopping, you can imagine what they had in that night, and I could hear it all around me. I was left in resus from around 2 o'clock till around 6 o'clock, just laid on my own for that length of time, which I'm not bothered about. It was scary. I felt shocking, but the pressure that the NHS are under is unbelievable. Listening to the nurses and the doctors. I mean, the cardio doctor that had to work on me, he was on his way home, and they had to phone him to come back to help me, which I really, really appreciate. And he didn't hesitate to turn around and come back. So at 6 o'clock, I went for a scan of my head to make sure I'd not done any damage with the fall. And that came back absolutely fine. They got me to the ward, and I managed to go to sleep for a couple of hours. And then obviously they woke me up. I asked for my husband, I asked for Steve, and they told me that he couldn't come till 2 o'clock till visiting hours. The time between that and 2 o'clock was the longest time of my life, waiting for Steve to get there. And when he got there, I just broke down. I just said, I just can't believe that it's only been 2.5 years since it happened before, because it had been 10 years between the last episode, and it were really, really scary. So yeah, so I was fine, and then so that was the Sunday, and then Monday I just couldn't sleep. The medicine that they had me on were making me quite ill. and they decided to take me off that medicine to get my heart rate going. All the time I were on the monitor, so I couldn't go to the toilet or anything. I had to use the commode, and that was the same all the way through the stay at the hospital. Because I was under a different hospital for my vasovagal syncope problems, they needed to consult them because they specialised in my condition. So they had a meeting on Wednesday. So they just needed to just keep me in the hospital up until Wednesday to this meeting. Sorry, I just needed a little bit of a rest there. So yeah, I just obviously I had my own room, got fed, got the care that I needed. We had to have COVID tests daily, blood tests daily. We had to have like these tests like in your groin creases, and I had a CCG every morning, just to make sure everything were right. And then on Tuesday they pulled all the information from my loop recorder. They'd already recorded in recovery that my heart had stopped on a number of occasions, but they didn't know to what extent. So they pulled the information, and between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock Saturday night, Sunday morning, my heart stopped 25 times, and each time it got progressively worse. So the pause was longer. The longest pause that they had was 35 seconds. So the doctors were quite concerned, and they recommended a pacemaker. They said I had 3 options. They said, 1, try and manage it myself without a pacemaker, but they could guarantee that it would happen again, because they do realise now from the 3 occasions that it's nausea. So yes, you could stop drinking, but if you have gastroenteritis, anything like that, food poisoning, travel sickness, anything, it could set that off, and you would need hospitalisation to obviously correct my heart. So they had a meeting on the Wednesday about what would be best for me, but ultimately they said it was my decision. And Alex, my son, he'd been so strong on the night, looking after me and carrying me, stayed calm. And then he had a bit of a breakdown on Monday, which is understandable, having to carry your mum down and her heart stopping and my eyes rolling to the back of my head. It must have been bloody scary for him. And so I knew that I had to choose the pacemaker. So the choices they gave me was a Micra Pacemaker, which was, or a normal pacemaker. With a normal pacemaker, it's fitted through your chest. You have quite a big scar. It has leads. It's reliable. You have a pack that you have on your bedside table. It tells you if it's working and stuff. Or I could go with the Micra, which is innovative. It has only been in the UK for around 5 years. It is widespread in the US. There's not many people in the UK that's had it. There's only 2 surgeons in Sheffield that can do it. And this is fitted through your groin. So I had to look into it, and this is the reason that I did the video, because I couldn't find anyone in the UK that had had this surgery that I could like kind of refer to. Obviously normal pacemakers, there's everyone, and just nothing for the Micra. So the only kind of things that I found on the internet were either from Medtronic, who invented this pacemaker, or on Facebook, but it was a US page, and it was people that had obviously had it in America. Sorry about that, when my daughter was phoning me, she's just gone away from school. So yeah, I couldn't find like the information that I needed, and I felt like I was going into something quite blind. But I didn't want to make a decision just because. I mean, I didn't understand either. But the loop recorder that I had fitted had recorded everything on that night. It had recorded all the episodes. It recorded all the pauses, the art stops. And I was one at first to have this one because this is a wireless one that attaches to Bluetooth on your phone. So with the old ones, you'd have a fob round your neck. So this, I thought, you know what? I had the newer one of this. It's made me feel fine. So I thought, I'm going to go for Micra. So I'm going to move on now. I'm just going to show you a photo of what the Micra is. So we are running out of light, so you'll have to excuse. There's no natural light, it's really dark. So yeah, there are a few pictures and videos that I took. They were all before the operation because I wasn't feeling too good after the operation. So you've seen the Micra Pacemaker. So after I looked into that a little bit more, obviously there weren't much that I could look into except for the company that actually invented it. I made the decision to have the Micra. So I made this decision after the doctors and the doctors from the Northern General at Sheffield had met to discuss my case. And on the Wednesday night, I was told that I was being transferred from Rotherham Hospital to Northern General Hospital for the procedure. So I got to the Northern General Hospital around 1 o'clock Thursday night. When I arrived there, it was a totally different atmosphere. I'd come from quite a calm, private room where the staff were quite calm. I were on coronary care unit at Rotherham, so and I'd gone to Firth 7 in Sheffield. This ward was a fast-paced ward. It was people coming in that were having heart attacks, people that were being worked on, people that were going in for pacemakers, and because of COVID they had all the windows open, so it was freezing. The beds were all side by side with just a curtain. It was just a totally different experience than in Rotherham, and I found it quite daunting. I was quite upset. I didn't expect to be transferred on the Wednesday night. I expected to stay overnight and be transferred on the Thursday, looking to have the operation maybe Friday, maybe coming out Monday. So that's what I had in my mind. So I rushed to the Northern General, and then I was told in the morning that I was going in for the operation then. At this point, I thought I'd be asleep for the operation, and I've not been told otherwise. So I said, because they were going to serve me breakfast, I said, oh, I've got an operation this afternoon. So can I eat or not? And they said, yeah, it's done under local. You'll be awake for the procedure and you can eat. And the feeling then, I just thought, what is happening? But I think they do a lot under local anaesthetic now. So the doctor came round and he said he was going to fit me in at 11 o'clock. So I'd only been in this hospital for obviously a matter of hours. I'd had no sleep because there's no lights out on that ward. It's constant, and there were a man trying to escape because he didn't want to stay there any any longer, and a lot of people in a lot of pain. It was not a great experience. The nurses were trying to do as much as they could. They had new equipment which were beeping all night, and it was frustrating the nurses as well as the people in there for the operations. So at 11 o'clock they came to get me. They took me to the waiting room for the operation. The doctor had come and had a little bit of a chat with me about how it would go, and they said that this operation is through your groin. So they go up a vein into your heart, they plant the pacemaker in your heart, and then it's all done. They'd also got another doctor in to remove my loop recorder. So I was going to have two, obviously, operations at the same time. So we got in there, and I am going to talk about the operation now. And this is because I've not found anything on social media explaining how it went. And I had a fear going in of that unknown. To me, I like to plan. I like to know what's going to happen. So we went into a room. There's a massive TV on the wall, which obviously is to scan your heart because it's all keyhole surgery, so they can see what they're doing through there. I had a cardio doctor which was specialised in doing the procedure. However, he'd only done 5, I think he said 5 in Sheffield, and he'd done 1 that morning, and then he was doing me. So because of this, they also had 2 representatives from Medtronic, who obviously invented the pacemaker. They wanted to be there to witness the operations and just to discuss how it's going for the surgeon and things. So they asked if they could be present. I said absolutely fine. There were numerous nurses around me. I also had the 2 doctors, one that were going to do my loop recorder, one that were doing pacemaker. They talked to me, they kept me calm, they laid me down, they strapped my arms down, so you can't itch or anything like that. I had to wear a face mask. I just had to tell the nurses if I got an itchy nose or anything like that, and they'd come and scratch it for you. And they told me it'd last around 45 minutes. However, because of the loop recorder and because they were talking to the representatives, it did last about an hour and a half. They put in my cannula, they put some painkillers and some antibiotics, and then in my groin they put a needle, didn't hurt, to numb the area. So what they did then is they made an incision into my groin, and I think what they said they did is flushed out the vein first, which was uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say it was painful. It was just a very, very strange feeling. And then it went to the point where they put the pacemaker in, and it was painful. Even though I had the painkillers, it was painful. The painkillers did make you a bit woozy, but obviously fully there. So I did scream out, and the nurses just said it's absolutely fine, just grit your teeth. So I did. I thought, look, it's not a long procedure, just give me some more painkillers, which made me a bit more woozy, so I felt a bit better about it. And you felt the pacemaker move up your vein, and then you feel it go to your heart, which is the strangest feeling. And then once it's in your heart, they have to make sure it's situated right. So they all start discussing in medical terms about where it's situated, and it's all on the screen, and you can see your heart, you can see the pacemaker, and it was just pretty amazing. I did ask for a copy of that, but they wouldn't let me. And they have to make sure it's situated right. And then they run some tests on it. They put some, like a magnet or some Bluetooth device over your chest to make sure the readings are right. They set it to a certain sensitivity so it's not going off at simple things. And once they've got it right, then what they do is the clasps come out on the pacemaker and it grabs onto the tissue, surrounding tissue. And then they cut the thread from the bottom of your groin and pull all the whatever it is that they've put it through. And yeah, that was because they have to pull it out fast. I think that's so there's no air holes. But it was fine. It was fine. And then you have to lay there still for 5 minutes while they glue the incision together. And the doctor who did the procedure held it for quite a while till obviously it's set. And then they put a dressing over that. I did at the time of the operation, I don't know if this would be the same for anyone else having the Micra Pacemaker. I did have a real pain in the middle of my back. So I asked the doctor at the time if that pain would go. Let me just see who's just walked in. Sorry, Kaylee's just got home. So yeah, I had a pain in my back, and this did raise concerns to the doctors because I shouldn't have. So they did a scan, and what they were looking for is any air bubbles in my vein, but they didn't find anything, so they just said to see how I got on. And the day after, the pain in my back had subsided, so that were absolutely fine. So they'd finished that, they'd dressed the wound and everything, and then it came to my pacemaker, my loop recorder to be removed. So they made an incision and they went to cut it out, and it had only been in there 3 weeks. Sorry, I had to pause it again then just to chat to my daughter. So yeah, the pacemaker, I'd only had it in 3 weeks, but some people can have it in for like up to 2 years, so your tissue can grow around it in your muscles. That, it weren't painful. It yanked it out and it went with a thud, and I just thought to myself, because I knew it would painful in my chest after I'd have it fitted in, I thought this is going to really hurt. And they said to me with the groin area that it could heal like 2 to 3 days, but they said if you can leave it 5 to 6 days and then fine to get a shower and take the dressing off. On the Thursday, I come out of the operation. It must have been about 1:30, I would imagine, or 1 o'clock. And then you have to lay for 2 hours at 30 degrees, and then another 2 hours at 47 degrees. And then you have to show that you can walk and move around. And I did that, and because everything seemed fine, they sent me home. Now, I were really nervous about that. I were excited to go home, don't get me wrong, but I felt shocking. I couldn't even, I know this is, you shouldn't really compare it, but I couldn't look at my phone, I couldn't pick my phone up. And obviously, I'm on my phone a lot. I do social media, and I message my friends a lot, and I couldn't even think to look at it. And my husband came to pick me up, and I felt really bad. They wheeled me to the pickup area, they got me in the car, and all the way home I was thinking I really should not be going home. I didn't feel good at all. So I got home, and the kids wanted to talk to me. It was my daughter's birthday. I was so grateful to get home for it, but I really couldn't focus on enjoying the time with her because I was in so much pain, and the pain was from my chest. It wasn't from my groin. So what I would say is that if you haven't got loop cord, you're not having that, then I would definitely recommend the Micra Pacemaker, as in healing and pain. It was absolutely fine. Obviously the operation's daunting, but it's bearable. It's nothing major. But yeah, the pain in my chest was horrendous. I just couldn't move, and so obviously I've been in hospital for a week, and then I've got to rest for a week. I've got washers. Thought I'd not had a good shower, and I was just looking so forward to having that shower. on day 4, sorry, another disturbance. Sorry, that's my son home now. So, yeah, definitely, I can't even remember what I just said, but I definitely recommend the microsurgery. Obviously, I'm not at a point where I know if it works or not. I'm on day 7 post-op now, and on day 5, no, day 4, I went into a bit of a panic. I thought I got internal bleeding, and at the side of my groin, all my private region had gone bright purple and swelled, and I don't know why, but I didn't expect that, so I thought it were internal bleeding. But after speaking, I phoned the nurses of the ward, and they reassured me that it wasn't, and that it's nothing to worry about. And yeah, so it was just normal bruising to be expected. My chest was still sore, but I could see that it were healing. And then on day 5, still covered in bruises, but they told me on day 5 I could remove the dressings. At this time, just how I was feeling, I was still sore on my chest. The groin wasn't sore at all, and I felt like when I brushed my tongue, do you know when it does make me wrench a little bit and retch a bit, and that's because I just brushed too far back, and I felt like it was setting my pacemaker off. But I'm going to speak to them when I have that appointment just to see if it's a little bit sensitive. So yeah, I was feeling all right, very tender, which still am a little bit now. And then I thought, well, they told me 5 days, could take the dressings off and have a shower. So they'd not really told me anything about the dressings and what I needed to do. So I started with ripping the dressing off my chest, and it ripped the Steri-Strip off and it opened my wound. So then I thought, I'm going to have to get a shower. So I put it back over and I kept the one on my groin. I had my shower, I got ready, and then we went down to my doctor's, and the nurse, she took the dressing off the groin and she decided to redress it with it being on my pant line. And the one on my chest, she put some more Steri-Strips over it, but she said both were healing really well. So yeah, other than that, I had pains in my shoulder. At the hospital, they did start to give me some like teachings about what physio I needed to do with my arm to stop getting frozen shoulder, but the printout they got was a normal pacemaker that's fitted through your chest. So I explained that I've got a Micra Pacemaker, and could this still happen? Do I still need to do that? And they were saying not to lift my arms because of the incision on my chest. And I said, well, I've not got an incision on my chest. So this procedure's that new that they haven't got the literature to explain what could happen. They didn't know. They were going to go back and ask, but they never came back to me. So when I went home, I didn't really know what to expect. And the pain when I went to bed was unbelievable. I sat up for 4 days, and then I can only lay on my left hand side. If I lay on my right hand side, I have pain in my shoulder and my back. But I'm thinking now that is frozen shoulder, and I think that's just for the lack of movement for 2 weeks. Obviously a week in hospital and then a week at home. I've been signed off work until the 29th of December, so a full month. I've got an appointment on Christmas Eve with the cardio specialist who's going to test the pacemaker, make sure it's all working. I can't drive until I've had that appointment. So from Monday I'll be doing the school run. I'll have to walk, and obviously walking everywhere, and just trying to I'm just shattered. I'm just absolutely shattered. So I just need to concentrate on the bruises, just getting the incisions healed, and building my stamina back up. But other than that, I'm feeling good. I have been very emotional, but I think I'm getting to the point now where I feel relieved that I've got this pacemaker fitted, and the fact that I've got that as a backup should I have this syncope again, and I won't need to put my family through what happened the other weekend, because it was pretty horrendous. So yeah, just if anyone's had a Micra Pacemaker, if anyone's thinking to have a Micra Pacemaker, just contact me. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, and I'm also on here, so you can contact me through here. But yeah, there were just nothing when I was looking, so I wanted to talk about it and do a separate vlog. Nothing to do with food, nothing to do with anything. So I know it's not for everyone, but I know how important this would have been to me when I was looking for advice on a pacemaker. But at the moment, I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, I've got an appointment on the 24th, and I will do a quick update just to say what's happened and how the tests have gone. A little bunny boo, how the tests have gone and how the Micra Pacemaker is working. I've got a few questions that I want to ask the specialist as well on that day, so I'll have a chat about that. But yeah, and then other than that, I'll probably not really talk about the pacemaker until it needs to work. But yeah, it's really good. You don't have a pack or anything. All I've got is it fitted in my chest, and there's no pack, there's no wires, there's no nothing. I'll have to go to hospital, I think it's yearly, and what they'll do is they'll pull the information from that, and they'll keep that information. They'll tell me if it's had to work or anything like that. But yeah, other than that, I feel a lot safe. I feel a lot better, and it's just obviously healing now. They said after a week you could be fit, you could be back at gym, but then you speak to other specialists that's saying no, it's going to be 5 to 6 weeks. So I think it all depends on how well you heal. And like me, don't rip your steri-strips out because it's going to cause problems. So I'm working on my frozen shoulder. I've still got a lot of pain at night, so I've been taking painkillers to sleep, but hopefully that'll get better in time. I've been doing a few exercises to try and ease it off, and hopefully I will be in full health before the end of December. My family's been absolutely fantastic looking after me. Steve has been an absolute godsend, and I feel very, very lucky to have the support that I've had from yourselves, from my family, from my friends and my colleagues. Very, very lucky. And on the night when they told me it stopped for the 35 seconds, they said that had it stopped any longer, I would have needed CPR, and it could have potentially been fatal. So I think you've just got to enjoy life and just not worry about anything. So I'm going into this, I'm 40, I know I've got a pacemaker, but I'm going into this with a smile on my face and just carry on as normal. I'm hoping to get back to the gym in January, and I'm still going to concentrate on my health and getting to a weight that I'd like to be at. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, this is more for information because this is what I needed a week ago, and if I can help anyone, then that's why I've done this. So tomorrow, hopefully I will, if I'm not too tired. I feel like so shattered today. I've been having afternoon naps every day, but I'm sure that'll be fine. I think most of what knocked me out is obviously the bangs to the face. So, but now that's all healing. It's just a case of building my energy back up. So hopefully tomorrow I will get a normal vlog up about obviously my weight gain and about what my plans are. I can't see me doing a daily vlog because I need to rest and get better, but I will certainly do what I can when I feel well enough. But I'm just up and down at the minute, up and down emotionally, up and down physically, but I will definitely get there. So thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below. And if you've not already subscribed, it would be lovely if you could. So thank you for watching. Bye.